Hello, and welcome to Stop Now, a social experiment enterprise where we stop, listen, and share. Welcome back, everybody. I am Nate, one of your team members here, and I am joined, as always, by the man behind the mask, the voice of the voiceless, JK. JK, how are you this week?
I'm good, Nate. I'm quite excited and thrilled. This time I'm wearing the mask. So as you always say that, right? I'm a masked man. So I'm with the mask right now. And exciting news, a roller coaster ride for our entire team with the experimental lab. So that's one of the reasons we are focusing on this episode being a special for our team itself. And we all are going to give an update before I welcome our teammates, Shiva, Amar, and maybe a special guest from a special place. I will leave it to him to introduce himself.
Yar Mohammed from Pakistan and currently in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, well, welcome to the team, Mohammed. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm actually a graduate master major in sociology from Pakistan. I'm married, have 3 kids, and in 2011 I moved to Saudi Arabia for a job. And till that I'm working here. But currently I lost my job, and now I have joined staff now and under JK and all you guys to work for different issues and work for causes actually.
Mm. We're glad to have you on the team, and JK, I think we've been talking about this experiment for a while, and we've seen and heard from Shiva and also Amar, and so like you mentioned, we've had some ups and downs, we've had some roller coasters. It's been a wild, exciting experiment that we've been doing. So I don't know where you want to start, JK. Do you want to maybe give the people an update, or do we want to hear from Shiva? Like where do we want to go this week?
Let's hear from Shiva and Amar. Guys, go ahead.
Yeah, last week where I worked for same as like previous week. We have work without work on Cognizant, and they every day they get a mail, kind of update and other thing. But there is no actual work behind with the end client. We had time schedule, time sheet. Yes, we have shared it, and we have got a 5 days approved. And last week we have submitted the time schedule, and maybe it'll approved by Monday. For 10 days we have salary. We're getting a salary without work. That's my last week, and I spent it like without work with this guys. That's it. And Amar, you can go on.
Thank you, Shiva. And that when I used your profile and you resume that in this time, I got many good response from the recruiters, because in your profile you are a US citizen. That's the main cause, I think. But currently I'm using Peter's profile, and the profile is arranged with H1B. And that's the problem actually, I confess. So many recruiters they are actually don't support H1B, because they told me that their companies is not work for H1B. They are only for green card and for US citizen. So, but a few companies offered me them, but they want my DL copy and visa copy to prove me. So that's the problem actually, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think JK, what has maybe surprised me a bit about the experiment so far is, I don't want to say easy, because Shiva and yourself and Amar have been working very hard on the experiment, but the ease at which we went from the recruiters to the application process and the drug test, and then they're sending us the laptops, and it's like there seems to be less resistance, I guess, than what Amar's talking about with the H-1B candidate.
Yeah, I'm juggling between the screen, right? So I'm kind of being the fifth person here, working on the background, trying to live stream. I am sorry, I apologize upfront, guys. So bear with me. So I am invisible man right now from the screen, but I'll be talking and you all will be hearing my voice. So Nate, we will be in trouble, right? So as you mentioned, we are trying to fast track this and everything looks like goody goody and everything is happening so fast. We didn't know that when we started the experiment, we will reach this far. And definitely Shiva has been a good help where we were able to onboard him, and he is literally not doing anything and getting paid. And that's exactly what we wanted to show to the world. And in your case, right? So we are getting you into trouble, actually. So we are getting you more offers because you are being a US citizen. So you can see, this is the good news and surprise I wanted to show you. So you have got an offer and the offer letter is attached. So I didn't even show you this. And Cognizant is hiring you full time with the salary, base salary. Can you imagine?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm seeing this. I think need
should resign his job, existing job.
Yes,
Resign the existing job.
What need? You can join,
Yeah.
You have to tell me, right? You have to tell me in your tone that like you are my man.
And now I've gotten 3 jobs in 3 weeks. Like that. Oh, like good
Lucky
job,
man,
JK.
actually.
Yes, you're the man.
So that is on the good side. I don't know how much trouble I'm going to bring you in, and let me show you that as well and ask your viewpoint. So this is again the onboarding process. You get to have access. You have to fill in all the details and also hire right. Again, going back to hire right, where Shiva, if you remember, like TCS is doing a background on you. And the third job, which TCS, Infosys, and Cognizant has offered to Shiva, the same way like Nate has got a state client job, and the second one was another in California, PG&E, and this is the third one. And so for this, again, they are going to do a background. Let's see how this is going to play out. And if you are ready and up for the drug test, you are welcome. But the problem happened here. The bad news, I have to break it. For PG&E, I made a mistake because I cannot act like a black man, right? So I did the fake interview showing my face, which I should not have done. So I did that. So now when we submitted your passport size photographs and your ID and all for background verification, it has got back as a discrepancy saying that like it's an African American, but we saw somebody else in the interview. And they have sent the laptop to you, right? Now they are backing out with the offer and saying that like the recruiter called me yesterday evening and said like, Nate, they are withdrawing the offer for you. Can you return the laptop? And I said like, why? And they said like, there is some discrepancy in your drug test or a background. I don't know that. And can we talk about it in Hindi? And I said, like, I don't know Hindi. What do you mean? So that is what has happened.
Yes.
And I will play that out for Nate to hear that voice.
If in case you receive the laptop, please return the same.
All right, sure, we'll do that.
Or do not accept it. Please.
Yeah, I'll not accept package. I'll return.
Yeah, so it will, so they will return it out.
All right, we'll do that. Well, what do you mean by discrepancy in PG?
Nate, do you speak Hindi?
No.
Okay, all right. So I'll talk to you later. I'll let you in detail later. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Okay. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Yeah, need now become a Hindi speaker.
Yeah.
You have to learn Hindi. So that is a bummer, right? So we cannot fool around all the time. So we just learned in the short span of time as well. So obviously, right, even if we accept the offer, who's going to work? That's the question. So you are not available to work and nobody is going to play your role as well. So that is where like we are stuck on that, because even if we accept the cognizant offer, I don't know, maybe I'm just throwing it out. If Mohammed wants to play that, we can try it out. That's where like we are requesting volunteers to join us and expose these scandals and scams that is happening, where people just don't care. They just go ahead and throw out offers and then onboard you, provide you laptop, and then like before even joining, you got fired. And the other one, the state client, it's more interesting, right? So Amar, Shiva, we all were there. You were onboarded to that, and they gave 2 days of training.
Okay.
So we have recorded all that, and it was 4 hours training for 2 days. And after doing all the training, the agency which hired you on the contract, they are not providing access to enter the timesheet. So we are not able to enter into your laptop. Basically, they are not giving the credential after onboarding, getting trained. But that is a struggle that is happening with the state client. No need to worry. And they said like, you will be able to continue work next week and you will get paid. But on the contract side, they keep updating the contract date to, it started on 14th and now updated to 18. And I don't know what's happening there. But even if it goes through, right? And if you are going to get paid, it's directly going to come to your bank. You will be credited with that. We don't know how we are going to proceed in that, because either again Shiva is fully occupied, and if Amar is able to do it, then probably he can continue to do that, because he was the one who pushed your profile to get that job offer. So that is what is happening here. So I want you guys to take a stab at that. Like, what do we infer from these things? And what is the future for us? Like, how long are we going to do this?
Yeah, if you leave morning, I think in Clubhouse, I have already said, if we have enough videos to prove it, we will stop this project, maybe working for 3 months, and we go with some other social issues like other trafficking, sexual trafficking, and other things, and do the talk shows. Maybe we will continue this human trafficking and fight with corporates for 3 months. What do you say, Neat and Amar? What's your point?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, Shiva and JK and Amar, because the experiment has, like, there's certain things we're going to keep running up against, in that, like, JK can't be me on camera. It's not gonna work, you know. And like the first job that we got disqualified because of the discrepancy. But I do feel like what you're saying is correct, Shiva, in that we are compiling all of this evidence that there's been wrongdoing, and that the system is not working the way it should. You know, the system is unfair, and we see that with what Amar has been doing with the H-1B profile. So I think we kind of play it out as long as we can, but I think eventually there's probably going to be a endpoint that we run up against.
Amar and no,
Go ahead, Shiva. Sorry.
No, I'm trying to give an opportunity to Amar what he thinks. Amar, what do you think about it?
Yeah, we can continue our experiment, but not this sector. We need to go for another one. That you said, told me that human trafficking or any other issue we can discuss. But we have almost we have many evidence to prove that this issue that we are discussing now. So we can move for another issue. Yes, you were.
Yeah, other thing, like I thought, like if he doesn't have any problem with working on the cognizant or some other thing for a year, if the project is continue for a year, I don't think what's the wrong on doing this. JK, this is for you. Like, what's wrong on doing this? We can continue. Whoever can continue the project, they can continue and they can record the things side by, and we do another work. And but we stop the giving our resume and try to get a new job. We already have a need to have a 3 job. I am having a 3 job. It's totally 6 job, and we didn't have people to do it. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a team effort. I agree to it. And Shiva, I don't know if we can do it for a year or not, right? So, for example, unless you have the experience, right? We are trying to mimic the stories that was told to us, right? Mm-hmm. How labor trafficking victims are trapped in this ring, and they have to be like a modern slave and listen to their employer, continue to do this over and over for years together till they are set free, like in olden days, like how they say that in Bible. I don't want like to bring that up here. So here they call it as green card. Once they get that, then they are on their own. Till that time, like all these companies that we have gathered so far, I don't know, we are putting it in the public, we can blacklist and say these things. Our intention is, how do we make this visible to the government authorities to take action? Mm-hmm. And they all know that this is happening. Yeah. So obviously we cannot keep continuing on this. We are keeping a tab on this, and we have to put a hold. We will do that when it comes, like what happened with the Nate thing, right? So if it is a common man, right, he wants to seek a job and he's trying this, and he is even the story was like, if he is going to show his face and move his mouth and I'm going to talk, then the problem would have been different, right? He would have got the job, but if he is willing to do the job, then we can proceed. But in this case, Nate is a volunteer and he is providing his profile and his face to do whatever you guys want to do. But then we are not going to continue with that. We cannot. right? So it looks like we are preaching something and we are going against something, right? So I don't think like we can work and make money out of it like for a longer period. We just have to prove that we are able to get payment. So that is all we wanted to validate and prove. And we have to move to the next level, probably focus on the journalists who can address these issues. They can write up stories about it, and also bring in attorneys to talk about the legalities of it and why this is happening, who has to be accountable, right? Somebody has to be held accountable for this. Just like the billion-dollar companies, nobody is taking care of. For example, one of the victim, he shared the story saying that I have run across all the places for help, including Department of Labor, Department of Justice, FBI, calling in National Human Trafficking Hotline, nothing helped. So we have to put ourselves in the shoe. The experiment is for that only, right? So if we are repeating that story and nothing can be done, then why the F like are we worried about it? Everybody can justify, as Siva mentioned, yeah, we can go ahead, make merry, work and earn money. And we will also do that. Nobody can ask us to stop, right? Unless we want to stop now. I am stopping now. Let's ask Mohammed your viewpoint. Again, this is what's happening in the United States. It might be a surprise for you. And we are preaching to the world on human rights. So what is your take on these things? And how is the story plays out in Saudi Arabia or in the Middle East?
Well, this for me actually, since it was all of this, maybe this case happened, for the offer which received by net, like it was all of this communication done by you, like to the with the recruiters, and he received the offer, and then they canceled the agreement, kind of the offer, just because of the complications. So this is happening normally, or you have to like, what is the percentage? I mean, this is very shocking.
Yes, to answer to you, that's a good question. It happens not here and there, one or two. Thousands and thousands of people are trapped in this. And we have evidence for that. And many people, they don't want like to come up. So the main reason why I wear the mask is to show that I'm the voice of the faceless, voiceless victims, just to represent them, like we are doing that. And there are hundreds and thousands of Asians, Indians, because the H-1B goes to 70% of the Indians.
Yes.
And that is where like the Indian corporates like Tata Consultancy, like which they call it as TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL America, including they think Cognizant is an Indian company, it's an American company, that also is involved in this. It's not just one, everybody does that. The entire recruitment industry does that. So that's why like we are trying to address this. And if you notice that like the more Indian community who come on student visa F1, for them to get a path towards citizenship or green card, they have to rely on these non-immigrant visas, employment-based visas, where they are tied to the employer and they have to do these criminal activities. I say this as a criminal activities because the minute they fake their resume to get a job, they are trapped into it. If they don't agree to fake their resume, how are they supposed to get a job? He's a 20, 25-year-old master's graduate from top universities. He doesn't have any experience in US. He will not get a job. To get a job, he has to agree to his employer to fake his resume and do all these things, right? What I told you. Somebody else will give an interview for you, but your original identity will be there. So once the interview is cleared, once the job is offered, you can go and start working. So in Nate's case, obviously everything went through, but his picture, right, was different from my face because I showed my face. So I look like you, Mohammed.
Yeah.
Almost. If you see me, then you will say like, oh, he looks like me because we are from the Indian subcontinent. So we all look alike.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the distinction between communities. Like, so if there was any, I don't want to, again, Nate was okay with that, right? If I was a black man, then there would not be any problem. And with my accent, with my voice itself, they know that like I'm, that's why like the recruiter asked me, right? He called me and said like, do you know, Nate, do you know Hindi? The logic is like, as a, if I was with the Nate original accent, if I spoke to them, they would not have questioned me that at all, because they know that from that accent, it's an American or a African American or black, whatever they have the image on their mind, they would not question him. But whereas Amar right now, he is a Bangladeshi, he was able to talk to the recruiters as simple as, okay, I'm Nate, what do you need? Those are the simple things he is doing. Sitting in Bangladesh, nobody questions.
Yes.
So that is what is happening here.
No, this is strange. This is strange.
Yeah, and I think, JK, that the crazy thing is if they'd never seen you, they probably wouldn't care that you weren't me. It's only that they saw you and they're like, oh, well, there's a discrepancy. But if they'd never seen you, they would have just kept it rolling along because they don't really care. It's just a matter, like I think you said it a couple of weeks ago, JK, it's a numbers game. How many people can we recruit? How many people can we get in the pipeline so that we can keep the money rolling?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what is happening with the Cognizant offer with this, right? With the Cognizant right now, it will go through. The reason why I say that is they didn't see me. Right? So the HR manager, after speaking to me for giving the offer and accepting the offer, she spoke to me, and with the accent, she's also an Indian, and she, again, Indians can have your name, right? So it's not that like India is like politically, they might think that like it's kind everybody is a Hindu or whatever it is. Large population of Muslims and Christians are there, right? Many Christians' names are there in India as well. So that may be the reason they are okay with the name. But then she even asked me that, do you need any sponsorship at a later time? And I said, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a US citizen. Why do I need sponsorship? And then like she said, like, okay, that's fine. They moved on. Unless they see me in person, right? So I cannot impersonate like you. As long as it is going to be remote, we can work this out and we can get, that is the positive I am deriving from this. But if you are required to come in person, right, then you alone can go, right? If I go, definitely I'll be caught red-handed, right? So I cannot say that like with your ID showing that like this is me,
right?
So the same.
This kind of cases I didn't heard like it's possible here because it's in person. Mostly in Saudi it is in person, but maybe in remote jobs it's happening. Yes, maybe. But I personally I didn't heard of.
No, I mean, I asked about a general human right violation in Saudi, right? How the employers are sponsoring and how they're holding you guys, that aspect. Because I'm comparing.
Well, yes, there was sponsorship system, which is called kafala system. That is abolished. That is finished, but it is still like it is still in a form like the visas are issued, and people are coming and they are working same like before. Like they are come on a visa, but they are not working with the sponsor. They are working. There are companies which employ such kind of people. So they are working. What the employers are doing, the sponsors, they're taking so much money from them and not listening to them. Like they have no insurance, of course. They have insurance, but that is very cheap. They cannot even afford uh, uh, a small hospital, and they cannot travel back home on their own. Like even if they want that, they have to pay the money which the sponsor want. So the sponsorship system was here, and it is abolished. It's improved actually. They are bringing so many changes. The system for the exact re-entry was before like only sponsor can initiate that. Now in Saudi, employee can also start the exact re-entry process from their own, which there is one system that is called Upshare. So they can start from their own, and within 10 days, if employer will accept, you can go to your home and you can go on vacation. If they will not, that will automatically be accepted. Your application will be accepted. So they are bringing changes. And as far as other labor kind of violations, yes, there are issues. There are still issues like the one which is this recruiting agency. I work with one of a giant company, telecom company, and I work on a payroll. Like I was under sponsorship of another company, and I was working for them directly. So there is, yes, like no end of service benefits, and uh, other things are okay, but there was no end of service and these kind of issues. But I can see like from last 4 or 5 years, uh, so many changes. Like Saudi is not like before. Saudi is not like before. It's changed.
Yeah, so that's good to know. Again, gradual step-by-step process are happening, but
Yes.
as you mentioned, right, so still it is controlled by the employers, right? So you are,
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
so it's not a surprise for many people in Middle East saying that like it's a common practice, it's not a human right violation. But then the Western society sees that as a serious crime against humanity, and they want those things to abolish. But the point is, they don't know what is happening in their backyard. It is
Exactly.
still happening in US, and large number of people are being trapped in this modern slavery in the name of H-1B visa and sponsorship and
Yes.
waiting for the green card. So that is our intention. And as I mentioned, Nate, so many things happened in the process that last week I was taken back when all these things happened. They even asked your LinkedIn profile to validate your identity. So just because I shared your picture and they saw me, they wanted to verify in the LinkedIn. I said, like, what does it mean? Like, why do you want to verify in LinkedIn? What authority LinkedIn has on the background verification? So that's so funny. Like the world is going crazy, right? People are validating you based on your social media.
It's not official until it's on LinkedIn, JK.
I could have created one. I did that, right? So I created a for Peter, we created a LinkedIn profile, and for Nate, we had. So we can keep creating fake things over there. So how do they validate from that? I really don't know, because we are even able to get rid of the background verification companies. They did the background on you, and they didn't bring up anything fault in that. So everything we were able to fake it out and give you 7 years employment history and 7 years criminal record clean. Everything is clean. So what more do you want? So the background companies are also not doing their job properly. Even that is being outsourced. So exactly, as an individual, Nate is also outsourcing his job. What is wrong in that? Like as Shiva asked, right? So I'm outsourcing my job. Instead of me, somebody else is working, and I'm getting paid, and I will share that with the person who works for me. So Nate is becoming an employer now rather than being a job seeker. So that is the future. I mean, we all know that before robots or AI takes over the humanity, and we are going to be slaves to the artificial intelligence. That's going to happen. So somehow or the other, we are going to remain slaves. That's all I can say. Any final comments before we wrap up this episode?
Shiva?
Yes. You said, JK, like finally we are all slaves. That's it.
So he got the last sentence, and he likes that.
Yes. We all slave. Even in own country, we are all slave. Somebody's slave. If going for another country to work, you already have accept you to be a slave on other country. That's it. Even like these problems are facing, like we can explore, like even each citizens, they have doesn't have their own job in their own country. Why the people calling from other country people to work for them? Because of they need slaves. They won't trouble their own country citizens. They taking slaves from other countries. Like when the olden days British done this, the same thing America now doing the same thing. They need still they need slaves. Because maybe your origin may be African. They are all slaves taken from British and settled America and built in America, and they are in now in a second citizen. The white people, white skin, have a first citizenship because they are all British. So same as in all other countries now taking slaves. Indians are always ready, and Eastern like countries are like Bangladesh, Pakistan, other Asian countries ready to slave white people. That's the problem on humanity. That's it. That's my point. Yes.
Yes. And Amar, do you have any final thoughts about the experiment, about the modern day slavery? Any thoughts this week?
Yes, I just want to say that if we want to continue with other issues like human trafficking or modern slavery or any other abuse, in this case, we need to add actually more people, yeah, because our team member is a very, I think, small, so we need more volunteer to continue all of those things. Also, I think if we have I have another idea actually. If we place those people who are actually victims, if we place them to our experimental lab, that will be, I think, great. That's my actually final thought.
Yes, thank you. And yes, for anybody watching, if you do want to volunteer and join the team, you can go to stop-now.org, because we are always looking for new team members, and everybody has gifts and skills that they can, bring to the table. And speaking of which, our newest team member, Mohammed, any final thoughts this week? Any thoughts on the experiment before we go?
Well, this case was very interesting, where you got the offer. Regarding modern slavery, I believe the modern economy is getting, it's getting tough day by day, and this is a general statement. I mean, so this modern slavery is, I believe, it's kind of the old slavery. Before that was actual slavery.
Mm-hmm.
But this current one, which is in the modern economy, it can be called like voluntarily. Like we go and we say, okay, we are okay with this. We don't like, but we have no any other option.
Right.
So this is the problem. Now the point is how to raise voice and how to stop all these things. Being in corporate sector, I myself, I suffered a lot, and I was looking. Now it was that my last job is actually end of my corporate job actually. So I was thinking about like freelancing, to be my own boss, to start my own business and these kind of things. So we should raise our voices. We should work for this cause. And yes, this is a very, especially I think mental health is one of I have seen I myself, because of the COVID and the to keep the employees overloaded. Mental health is one of the reason this modern slavery and these trafficking, I will not say, but this modern slavery where the employees are getting, getting they're getting stuck in an environment where they are asking, where they are being asked to work for hours, so much hours.
Mm-hmm.
So mental health is also affected, and this is very serious issue.
Absolutely. And for those that have been watching all of our shows, we recently spoke with Dr. Celia Williamson, who had a lot to say about mental health and when it pertains to the modern day slavery and the human trafficking. So that is a very important part of the equation. And JK, as we wrap things up this week, how are you feeling about the experiment? Do you feel like we're getting to the right places we need to? Are we getting the right evidence to make a change and maybe bring awareness to some of these issues?
Absolutely, Nick. No doubt on that. I'm positive right now. As you know that, like, I am not a very positive guy all the time, but in terms of the direction in which we are leading, it looks so overwhelming evidence, and we can jump on to the next wagon of fighting the legal battle as such. Even you can sue the company, right, which offered you, and as a US citizen, you have the right to do that. But in this case, you cannot do it, right? Because you cannot go to court on this, because we will be backfired on that, saying that you did fraud and how do you claim this? So that is the reason, like, even people might think US citizen will always fight. No, they also give up, right? They have, like, you have 3 offers. If one person says no, like, I'll move on. What the heck, man? Like, go on. I have a better offer in hand. So that is the case. But what Mohammed said, like, if you don't have options, if you don't have opportunities, then you are trapped. Mm-hmm. So that is where we need to prove that evidence. And probably Mohammed and Amar can do that in the next week with H-1B visa profile. And already Amar had the struggle. Nobody is going to talk to him unless he provides a document, H-1B document. They want that, like, to even submit his resume, not even get a job, just to submit. People have to understand, like, how much it's like olden days. You are chained, your hands are cuffed, and you have to bow down and listen to your employer as a master's. And That is exactly what is happening. And we need more volunteers, more H1B candidates to come forward and be brave enough to expose these things. And to Amar's point, no victims is going to come and talk because they are already scared to shit. And they don't want to take up this fight. That's why we are doing that for them. So that's all I can say. And it's wonderful to talk to you all again this week. Please like, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Yeah. Bye.
Mm-hmm.